My House of Horrors Chapter 411 to 420. The rain became heavier, and it blurred one's vision. Chen Ge sat next to the phone spirit and watched everything silently. The phone spirit and his mother were separated by a street. This 10 meters was the distance between the two worlds. He could see but not touch. Do you need me to take you there? Chen Ge asked softly, but the phone spirit shook his head violently when he heard that. He used his hands to wipe away the tears on his face, but he could not stop them. After a long time, he sent a message to Chen Ge. Call the police. Don't make her wait any longer. Through the window, the phone spirit looked at the woman standing in the rain. His hand landed lightly on the glass, and he seemed to say something before slowly disappearing. It was unclear whether the woman on the other side of the street heard his voice or not. She seemed to subconsciously turn to look at the coffee shop, but she did not see the person that she wanted to see. After the woman left, Chen Ge walked out from the coffee shop. He looked at the city that was covered in rain with a complicated expression. He had been through a lot recently. First, it was Xiao Xiao's grandfather who was sick, and then he met the phone spirit and his mother. Some people were no longer there, but the living still missed them. Perhaps it was this missing that gave them something to rely on. Leaning against the wall, Chen Ge did not care that his clothes were wet. He was thinking about a question that had been bothering him for a long time. What is a ghost? Ever since he obtained the black phone, he had interacted with many different ghosts, but the more he interacted with them, the more confused he became. After taking one last look at Tong Tong's flower shop that was closed, Chen Ge took out his phone and walked into the back alley. Captain Yan, I need your help. 7 years ago, a child by the name of Tong Tong disappeared in eastern Zhejiang. The police believe that he was kidnapped by human traffickers. Can you still find the case file on your side? Captain Yan heard the strangeness in Chen Ge's tone. He thought about it before saying, that case should be handled by the police station in eastern Zhejiang. I'll call them later. Thank you. Are you okay? How come it feels like there's something wrong with your voice? Don't worry. About 10 minutes later, Captain Yan called Chen Ge again. We found the case file, but we can't confirm the suspect. We only know that the car that kidnapped Tong Tong entered Liwan City, eastern Zhejiang, but the officers at the time did not find Tong Tong at Liwan City. They suspect that Tong Tong has been moved by the suspect somewhere else. Did they go to Puming Apartments on East Street when they searched? Puming Apartment? Let me ask. Captain Yan messaged the people at eastern Zhejiang's police station. After a while, he replied to Chen Ge. The officers have searched every house, but they did not see any children or hear any crying. All right, I understand. Chen Ge stood in the back alley, his body submerged in the shadows. Are you hiding something from me? Captain Yan was worried. It's not a big deal, it's just that one of my employees was wronged. Employees? Captain Yan could hear the coldness in Chen Ge's voice, and it had not been there before. Chen Ge, no matter what happens, don't act rashly. I won't act rashly. I'm just going there to seek justice. After hanging up, Chen Ge communicated with the phone spirit and got to know what had happened several years ago. The human trafficker lived at Puming Apartments. When he realized the police had entered Liwan City, he had panicked. The child was screaming and screaming. He was worried that he would be discovered, so to cover up his crime, he murdered Tong Tong and then stuffed the body and the phone into the water tank on the roof. At 11:30 p.m., the officers at eastern Zhejiang's police station received a call. Someone had discovered the human trafficker who had kidnapped children several years ago. The caller reconstructed the whole story for them, including the kidnapping, murder, and hiding of the body. The police moved out immediately. When they exited the station, they saw a man fainted in the middle of the road. After comparing the information, they realized to their shock that this man was the human trafficker from many years ago. Seeing the police drag the man away, Chen Ge hailed a cab and left. The phone spirit's wish had been fulfilled. His affection level toward Chen Ge had increased greatly, and Tong Tong's name appeared on the black phone's employee page. However, Chen Ge did not feel happy. He had suggested to share some information with Tong Tong's mother several times, but the phone spirit had rejected him every time. He did not want to disturb the woman's life anymore. The night passed uneventfully, and Chen Ge had a rare good night's rest. The next morning, the sun shone into the room. Stretching lazily, Chen Ge looked out the window. The sky is finally clear. At 8:15 a.m., Shu Wan arrived at the haunted house with breakfast. She saw Chen Ge, who had just woken up with messy hair. She shook her head. "Boss, I brought you breakfast. Eat it while it's hot." "Okay." Chen Ge washed up and picked up the breakfast that Shu Wan had brought. He started to munch on it. At 8:25 a.m., Ji Feiyu rushed into the theme park. He wore the work ID that Shu had given him around his neck. He greeted everyone warmly, and it was clear that he liked his job very much. "The two of you should go prepare yourself in the dressing room. The visitors are about to arrive." Chen Ge personally helped them with their makeup and sent them into the scenario. When there were still 15 minutes until the park opened, Director Luo and Shu walked over. Accompanying them were a few workers. "Director Luo, why are you here?" Chen Ge had done many big things recently, and he had caused quite a lot of trouble for Director Luo. "I'm here to deliver you something good." Director Luo pointed at the few workers behind him. They were carrying a few boxes. "Do you still remember the tracking bracelet and small program that I told you about last time?" Chen Ge nodded and turned to look at the box the worker was holding. "Is the program finished?" "There are no problems with the internal testing, so it can be officially used." Director Luo had the workers move a table over and open the boxes. They were filled with bracelets. These 1,000 bracelets will be given out for free. They will be used to build the framework for the small program, and the subsequent bracelets will have to be purchased by the visitors themselves. There is a QR code on the front and side of the boxes. Just scan it, and you'll be able to download the small program. You'll be able to get a 10% discount next time you visit. The workers were busy at the entrance of the haunted house, and the resting hall was filled with people. It appeared like the workers were installing something. "I've given you a new large screen. It will display everyone's progress and the introduction to the scenario. Other than that, the design for the resting hall has been finalized. We can start work in 3 days at the latest." Director Luo felt like he was playing a big game of chess. "I plan to remove the merry-go-round and the surrounding entertainment facilities. 1. They will be able to complement your haunted house, and 2. We are too far behind the futuristic theme park in terms of technology. I plan to purchase a new batch of entertainment facilities to close this gap." Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. After not seeing each other for a few days, Chen Ge realized that Director Luo was suddenly very confident in New Century Park, and that confused him. "Director Luo, you have to think this through. The technological gap between New Century Park and the futuristic theme park is not something that can be bridged with a new set of entertainment facilities." Chen Ge felt like Director Luo should understand that. "I'm just updating the facilities to make the gap smaller. The influence of your haunted house is growing, and the park cannot drag you down. The basic projects have to catch up." Director Luo knew what Chen Ge was worried about with one glance. "The funds have arrived. Don't underestimate our park's accumulation over the years." In front of his employees, Director Luo always maintained that confident look, as if everything was under his control. Of everyone there, probably only Chen Ge understood Director Luo's predicament. The park had run out of money, and this new batch of funds had probably been raised by Director Luo through his own connections and channels after paying a certain price. Building the resting hall and renovating the facilities required a lot of money, but since Director Luo had already said that, Chen Ge would not argue with him. Everyone was doing this for the park's benefit. The futuristic theme park in eastern Zhejiang would open in a few weeks, and New Century Park had reached its most crucial moment. The park's morale could not be shaken. The park officially opened at 9 a.m., and Chen Ge's haunted house had become the center of the park. It had the largest number of visitors. In just a few minutes, a long queue formed at the entrance of the haunted house. The visitors also noticed the change at the entrance. Many of them downloaded the haunted house app. Initially, they were just curious, but they slowly realized that the app was quite interesting. Most of the visitors who came early in the morning were haunted house's loyal fans. They had a common topic of conversation, and after downloading the app, they started to chat in the community chat. "The grass is long and the birds are flying in April. I, Lao Zhang, am back. This time, I have to clear a 1-star scenario. 3-star coffin village scenario. Bring 2 girls. Muyang High School scenario. Looking for teammates, no history of heart disease, and will not abandon teammates at the crucial moment. Speaking for the dead, defending the living. Zhejiang Medical University's internal communication thread. The community soon became lively. The visitors were very enthusiastic. They felt that this small app had brought people with similar interests together, giving them a place to talk freely. It also gave the visitors who liked haunted house a greater sense of belonging. As the tourists in front entered, the ranking on the big screen began to change. The tourists behind also rubbed their palms together, eager to try. The higher the star rating of the scenario, the more points one could earn from clearing it. That meant that there were more visitors who wanted to challenge a 3-star scenario. Chen Ge did not have time to slack off, so he continued to wander through the scenarios to prevent accidents from happening to the visitors. He worked until noon. During that time, Director Luo came by again. He only left after realizing that the software was very popular. Xu Wan and Ji Yufeiyu took turns to go for lunch. Chen Ge only came out at 2 p.m. The visitors were too enthusiastic, and he could not take it anymore. Most of the visitors started to challenge the 3rd Sick Hall and Coffin Village right after they cleared Muyang High School. This resulted in endless screams from the underground parking lot. Chen Ge also ran back and forth between the scenarios. Whenever he helped the visitors out from the 3rd Sick Hall, there would be another scream from Coffin Village. In the end, he had no choice but to release Lao Zhou's group. It was not for them to scare people but for them to help guide the visitors and prevent them from running around. When Ol, Zhou and the other 2 came out, they looked like they were ready to go all out. Chen Ge had to persuade them many times before they finally stopped. Worried that their faces would be remembered, Chen Ge even went to the specters' changing room to pick out 3 outfits to cover their faces before letting them go. With the help of the 3 ghosts, Chen Ge finally sighed in relief. The day was uneventful. No visitors cleared the 3-star scenario, and no visitors fainted from fear. This was the best result for Chen Ge. The few scenarios opened at the same time, and Chen Ge felt the pressure. He felt like he needed a manager-type specter. If I'm not busy tonight, I should go back to Muyang High School. At 6 p.m., Chen Ge sent off the last batch of visitors. He called Xu Wan and Ji Yufeiyu to have them remove their makeup and leave. After that, Chen Ge returned to the staff break room and lay in bed. I've been busy for a whole day, but I don't feel that tired. I wonder if my body has changed, or have I gotten used to this kind of high-intensity lifestyle? Chen Ge was thinking about how to arrange his time that night when his phone rang. He took it out and realized it was Li Zheng. Do you need my help? This was the first time that Chen Ge had cooperated with the police. He did not know how to do it, so he answered the call directly. Chen Ge, I have something to tell you. Li Zheng should be in his office because the place was quiet. Lu Jie has voluntarily surrendered. Surrendered. Chen Ge sat up in bed. With Lu Jie's selfish personality, he would not do something like that. We suspect that Dr. Gao has noticed everything, so he decisively cut off Lu Jie and pushed all the blame onto Lu Jie. That's impossible. That Lu Jie has a grudge against Dr. Gao. If something really happened, he would drag Dr. Gao down with him. Chen Ge ran the haunted house and met all kinds of people every day, so he was quite good at reading people. Let me finish. Even though Lu Jie has surrendered, he's not in the right state. His soul seems to have left his body like he's sleepwalking. Li Zheng also felt that something was wrong. We've been thinking about hypnosis, but unfortunately, Zhejiang doesn't have any experts in that field, so we can't cooperate with the investigation. In other words, we've lost the lead on Lu Jie. Lu Jie's condition was similar to Lu Shenxian and Ma Yin's. Chen Ge suspected that it was the woman with the strange skin tone who had done it. At least, that's the case before he recovers. There was helplessness in Li Zheng's voice. This time, their opponent had done everything flawlessly, not giving them any chance. That's why we hope that you can contact Gao Ru Shui in private. As for what kind of information you need from her, I'll send it to you in the morning. Today, I'm just reminding you. Okay, I'll cooperate. Ever since Chen Ge obtained the black phone, he had troubled the police many times. This time, he naturally would not reject their request. After getting Chen Ge's reply, Li Zheng's tone lightened. He did not understand why, but every time he called Chen Ge, he felt pressured. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up now, rest well. Li Zheng was about to hang up when Chen Ge said, wait a minute, I have another question. What is it? Lu Jie surrendered himself. Did he tell us where he hid his body? Have you found the body? It is similar to our previous speculation. Lu Jie was one of the school workers. He used his position to have the students move the statue into the storeroom, and then he sneaked over at night to remove the body from the statue and hide it in the underground morgue. Li Zheng's voice lowered like he was reminded of something unpleasant. Then, you've entered the underground morgue? Chen Ge perked up his ears. The underground morgue was a 3-star scenario and the last mission for the 4-star scenario, School of the Afterlife. Any information related to the underground morgue was important to him. We went in with the school workers this morning and found the body in morgue number 5. We did a DNA comparison, and she is Ma Yin's missing sister. When Li Zheng said that, the black phone suddenly vibrated. Chen Ge took it out and saw that he had received a message. He did not open it but continued to ask Li Zheng, Brother Zheng, can you tell me the layout of the underground morgue? Do you have a map of the underground morgue at Zhujiang? The underground environment was complicated, and a map was too important to him. Li Zheng was 30, so it was normal for Chen Ge to call him Brother Zheng. However, for some reason, when Li Zheng heard Chen Ge call him that, his hair stood on end, and a bad feeling rose in his heart. I don't have a map, but I know the general route. The school workers were there, so why are you asking? I'm just curious. Chen Ge rambled on for a long time before Li Zheng finally revealed the layout of the underground morgue. The underground morgue on the western campus is the biggest underground morgue in Zhujiang. It has been in use since Zhujiang Medical University was founded, and it has been around for decades. When we entered, the school staff specifically told us not to run around. There are many intersecting passages inside, and they can be roughly divided into 3 types according to their functions. One of them is a corridor that is painted white for transporting dead bodies, one is an unpainted corridor for people to walk through, and the last one is painted red. The worker did not tell me what the red corridor was for. He only told me to take a detour and not enter it. Li Zheng's words attracted Chen Ge's attention. This was the first time he had heard of a corridor being painted red. Could it be that the presence of the door has affected the surroundings? What are you talking about? Li Zheng didn't hear Chen Ge's words clearly. It's okay, you can continue. The actual size of the underground morgue, the worker did not know. According to the records, there are 6 morgues, but after we entered, we only walked a third of the way, and we already saw 3 small morgues and 2 middle-sized morgues. Li Zheng seemed to have something else to deal with, so he sped up. The large morgue is at the innermost part. According to rumors, it's a morgue filled with formalin. Various specimens are stored inside, and they can be fished out when there's a need for experiments. But those are things from many years ago, and they've been abandoned. Now, they've been replaced with freezers that are used to store dead bodies. Li Zheng gave Chen Ge the general layout of the underground morgue, but it was as good as not telling him anything. The road was too complicated, and there was no point of reference. Chen Ge felt like it was still too dangerous for him to go in alone. Brother Zheng, when you went in, did you hear any weird noises? Or did something strange happen? The underground morgue was similar to the underground parking lot of his haunted house. There was no sunlight, and ghosts could appear in the day. Strange noises. Li Zheng thought about it. There are a few. We have never entered a tunnel that was not painted for a living person to walk through. When we passed a tunnel that was painted white, we heard something that sounded like clapping. Chen Ge's interest was piqued. Do you mind telling me more about that? It sounded like someone was standing at the other end of the corridor, clapping, but when we passed it, we didn't see anything. But strangely enough, the corridor that was painted white looked much cleaner than the corridor that was not painted, like people often walked in there. Chen Ge took out a pen and paper to jot down all the key points that Li Zheng had said. The second strange thing was, when we passed morgue number 1, one of my team members saw people walking inside, but the door to morgue number 1 was locked, and we should have been the only ones who entered the underground morgue at that time. We asked the worker, and he said that it was because they were too nervous. The underground morgue was very depressing, and it could easily trigger negative emotions. The worker even comforted my team member, saying that they would get used to it. The third strange thing happened when we entered morgue number 5. At the time, everyone was looking for the dead body that Liu Jie mentioned, but the door to morgue number 5 closed on its own. It felt like someone had closed the door from the outside to trap us inside. The last thing happened when we were about to leave with the dead body. We walked out of morgue number 5 and retraced our steps back. We took the same path, but the time we took was twice as long. The fourth thing troubled Li Jung the most. Even now, he could not understand why something like that would happen. Believe me, it's a very strange feeling. It's like the same road, but it's been stretched. That's quite scary. Chen Ge looked at the information on the paper and put it away after making sure it was correct. It's not that scary. Li Jung seemed to have picked up something from Chen Ge's words, so he changed his tone. Chen Ge, that place is very dangerous. Don't get any strange ideas. What kind of strange ideas? Chen Ge was speechless. Am I that kind of person? I'm warning you, don't go there alone. I still have something to do, so I can't talk to you anymore. Li Jung then hung up. Chen Ge sat alone in the staff break room. He realized that he had underestimated the danger of the underground morgue. Coffin Village and the third sick hall are both 3-star scenarios, but the scariest presence in these two scenarios has been weakened due to various reasons, and that's why I was able to sneak in. When Chen Ge went to the third sick hall, only 3 of the 10 patients were inside the scenario, and Coffin Village was even worse. The scariest ghost had possessed Zhang Ling, and she did not mean Chen Ge any harm. With my current power, a 3-star scenario in its perfect form is still quite dangerous. Chen Ge turned to look at his shadow, and he was conflicted. If this 3-star scenario was in an open space, Chen Ge would not have been so conflicted. With his employees, they could retreat if they could not win. However, the problem now was that the morgue was built underground. If something happened, there was nowhere to run, and they might be trapped there until they died. Chen Ge took the pen and paper and did a simple count of the specters that could be of use on his side. Theoretically speaking, my haunted house can be considered a 3-star scenario. There are many specters, and they all have special powers, but they are not that strong. 80% of the haunted house's power came from Zhang Ya, the remaining 15% came from Shu Yin, and the remaining 5% came from other specters. I have the power to take on other 3-star scenarios, but that will have to wait until Zhang Ya wakes up. To speed up Zhang Ya's awakening, Chen Ge only needed to find a few female specters to talk about life, but he was afraid that when Zhang Ya woke up, she would kill him in anger. Chen Ge lay in bed. He felt like he could not rely too much on Zhang Ya, even though this feeling was very comforting. The other specters at the haunted house still have potential. Shu Yin's heart hasn't been dyed red, so he's one step away from becoming a real red specter. This last step should be related to the door. Turning the pen in his hand, Chen Ge was reminded of the door at the third sick hall. Should I go ask Meng Nan's main persona? The child is a door pusher, so he should know a lot of information. Chen Ge was instinctively wary of the world behind the door, but this was a critical moment, so he could not care less. The chairperson of the Society of Strange Tales has at least 2 red specters, Shang Qing and his wife. I have to be prepared to face 2 red specters at the same time. Chen Ge glanced out the window. Night had fallen. Since I have nothing else to do tonight, I should go to the third sick hall. After packing his backpack, Chen Ge took out the black phone to look at it before he left. When Li Jung mentioned that the missing person's body had been found, the black phone had vibrated slightly. Chen Ge had not had the time to look at it. He swiped the screen and opened the unread messages. Special visitor mission. The missing wife has been completed. Spectres favored. Congratulations on unlocking a scary scenario. The wife's room. Wife's room. Scream factor 1 star. I thought he would marry me, but who would have thought he would place me inside a statue and place me in the dark morgue? The mission of special tourist Liu Shenxian had been completed, but there were still many unresolved questions. For example, why did Liu Shenxian force herself to come into contact with those terrifying things? Why'd I have to smile when I'm scared? Chen Ge was sure that Liu Shenxian was hiding something from him. This girl's relationship with Liu Jie was not simple. Perhaps she knew some of Liu Jie's secrets. Now that Liu Jie has lost his mind, and Liu Shenxian has been ignored, The strange things happening to her must be related to Lu Jie. This is a breakthrough. Carrying his backpack, Chen Ge stopped at the haunted house. He thought about it and changed his mind. He called a taxi to get to Western Zhejiang Medical University. When he arrived, Chen Ge walked toward the school like usual. "Hey, what are you doing?" A tall and thin security guard stopped Chen Ge. The man did not seem to be in a good mood, and his face was drawn. "Go into the school to look for someone." Chen Ge's eyes scanned the tag on the guard's chest. This was the person that Li Zheng had mentioned to him, Zhang Li. Before Lu Jie turned himself in, Li Zheng had also suspected Zhang Li. On the night Ma Yin's sister disappeared, it was Zhang Li who was on the night shift. The school has been very strict recently. Outsiders are not allowed into the school. Call the person and ask him to come out. Zhang Li did not care about his feelings at all. This was probably one of the reasons why he was so unpopular. Chen Ge did not waste time with Zhang Li. He called Lu Shenxian and asked her to come out. "Mr. Chen, you're looking for me?" Lu Shenshen's impression of Chen Ge was very good. He was kind, and most importantly, he had once saved her life. Chen Ge nodded. He entered the tea house that they had visited last time and asked for a single room. After closing the door, the room became quiet. After a moment's silence, Chen Ge spoke first. "How much do you know about Lu Jie?" The mention of Lu Jie made Lu Shenshen's expression dim. Her eyes seemed to lose color, and she told the story between her and Lu Jie. In Lu Shenshen's description, Lu Jie was a mature and perfect man. He had no flaws, but because he missed his late wife too much, he hesitated when facing a new relationship. After listening to her carefully, Chen Ge looked at Lu Shenxian and asked the second question. "That day, when you entered the underground storeroom, Ma Yin was protecting you. Even at the most dangerous moment, she did not abandon you. Now, let me ask you another question. If one day, both Ma Yin and Lu Jie fell into the water at the same time, and you could only save one, who would you save?" This was a very boring question, but Chen Ji's tone was very serious. "I don't know." Lu Shenxian picked up the teacup from the table. She felt uncomfortable being stared at by Chen Ge. It felt like Chen Ji's gaze was like a knife that could pierce through her heart. Lu Jie has surrendered. Chen Ge decided to cut to the chase. He was the killer who killed Ma Yin's sister several years ago. Ha! The teacup fell to the ground, and the hot tea splashed all over her. However, Lu Shenxian did not seem to feel any pain. She stared at Chen Ge with widened eyes. This happened 2 hours ago, and Lu Jie has been arrested. Impossible. Lu Shenxian jumped up from her seat. The person that she loved the most was the killer of her friend's sister. That was too much for Lu Shenxian to accept. Seeing Lu Shenshen's reaction, Chen Ge sighed in relief. His biggest concern was that Lu Shenxian knew that Lu Jie was the killer but still chose to help him hide it. Things haven't reached the worst stage yet. Chen Ge signaled for Lu Shenxian to calm down and told her the whole story of Lu Jie's crime. Before the truth, all excuses were useless. Lu Shenxian sat across from Chen Ge blankly. "Actually, you should have noticed the many problems with Lu Jie, or else you wouldn't have gone to the statue to confirm whether he loved you or not." Chen Ge gave Lu Shenxian some time to accept the truth before he continued. "When you first entered the haunted house, I noticed that when you were faced with something scary, even if your heart was filled with fear, you wouldn't run away. In fact, you would even smile. Ma Yin said that you started to change in your second year. Is this change related to Lu Jie?" Lu Shenxian nodded after a long time. She told Chen Ge everything. "Actually, I fell in love with Lu Jie the first time I saw him. He was very considerate, and when I was with him, I was very happy and satisfied. It was not until one night in the second semester of my second year, when we parted ways at the school gate after watching a movie. I was halfway home when I remembered that his gloves were in my bag. I ran back to find him, but I realized that he did not return to his dormitory but sneaked into the western campus. He was nervous, completely different from his usual self. I was worried that something had happened to him, so I followed him silently. That night was particularly dark. I saw him crawl into the sealed laboratory building. When I got close, I heard him talking to someone inside the room. He mentioned things like dead bodies and blood vessels. I leaned against the window to peek, and what I saw inside the room was something that I would never forget for the rest of my life. Lu Jie was standing in front of a specimen jar, talking to a human head. I did not expect the person I loved to be a madman, and I almost screamed. I bit my finger and prepared to sneak away. Lu Jie was facing away from me, so I did not notice, but the human head inside the jar seemed to see me. The heavy eyelids opened slightly. No one touched it, and the head lightly knocked against the glass jar. Then Lu Jie seemed to understand something, and he turned to run away. I knew I had been discovered, so I ran as fast as I could, but I was still caught by Lu Jie. I was terrified, worried that he would do something to me like those madmen in the movies. But to my surprise, Lu Jie stopped when he was 3 to 4 meters away from me. He used a tone of helplessness and pain to tell me his story. 7 years ago, his wife got into a car accident, and after that, he became different from a normal person. He seemed to be able to feel the presence of those things, and he could even hear his wife calling his name the next day. Lu Shenxian looked at her burned hand, and her voice was hoarse. I was touched by his love. People like him should not be ignored by the world, so I promised to help him keep this secret. He has taken advantage of your kindness. Based on what I know, Lu Jie has never been married. What he told you was actually what happened to his brother-in-law. Chen Ge pressed the bell to have the waiter come over to help Lu Shenxian deal with her burned hand. I know, and I realized it later. After the waiter left, Lu Shenxian said, as we spent more time together, I noticed some weird things about Lu Jie. For example, he would enter the underground morgue every Wednesday. Enter the underground morgue every Wednesday. Chen Ge took a sip of his tea. Wednesdays were the day of the Society of Strange Tales' gathering. Yes, no one knew why he wanted to go to the underground morgue. I once asked him, but whenever I did, he would explode in anger, saying that he did not want to do it and that he was forced to do it. Lu Shenxian took out her phone and clicked on one of the recordings. I don't understand why he would be so angry. I recorded this during one of our arguments. Chen Ge put on the earphones and listened. Other than anger, there was a trace of nervousness and fear in Lu Jie's voice, like he was afraid of something. In his daily life, did he do anything out of the ordinary? Lu Shenxian thought about it for a while. Lu Jie's closet always has the smell of formalin, and the food he cooks has a very faint smell of formalin. The smell seems to have seeped into his body, so he usually sprays a lot of perfume when he leaves the house. She hesitated for a moment before saying something scarier. Lu Jie is not a medical student, but he has a lot of information on autopsy and death studies on his computer. His hobbies are quite unique, and you could say he is a bit crazy. He likes to seek out thrills, and the scarier it is, the happier he is. Quote. Squeezing out a smile, Lu Shenxian gently touched the corner of her mouth. The reason why I became like this is because of him. He told me that there are many terrifying existences in this world that are beyond human understanding. But as long as I smile at those terrifying things, they will not harm me. So, you've been training yourself. Lu Jie is very kind to me. He has bought me many things and is very kind to me. I grew up without a father, and the feeling that he gave me was very special. At the time, I was probably possessed. I felt like I would do anything for him. Quote. Chen Ge did not want to waste too much time on Lu Jie, so he quickly changed the topic. How much do you know about Lu Jie's brother-in-law? I'm not sure. Lu Shenxian shook her head. He would avoid me whenever he answered the phone. He seemed to be afraid of his brother-in-law. By the way, there was one time when Lu Jie got into an argument with his brother-in-law. At the time, Lu Jie was practically crying and begging his brother-in-law, saying that he did not want to enter those red corridors anymore. Then what did his brother-in-law say? The underground morgue's corridors were separated into 3 types, and Li Zheng had told Chen Ge that. His brother-in-law's voice was very soft, so I couldn't hear him clearly. I think he said that as long as we don't make any noise after entering the red corridor, we'll be fine. Don't make any noise inside the red corridor. Okay, I understand. Chen Ge nodded silently. Lu Shenxian had accidentally revealed a very important piece of information to him. After asking a few more questions to make sure that he had not missed anything, Chen Ge sent Lu Shenxian back to the university. Before he left, he reminded her to stay at the university for the next few days and stay away from places with fewer people. Hailing a taxi to the 3rd sick hall, Chen Ge typed all the information into his phone. Everything he was doing now was to prepare to conquer Western Zhejiang Medical University's underground morgue. When it was almost 11 p.m., Chen Ge arrived at the third sick hall. This time, he had brought all the ghosts from the haunted house with him, so he was not afraid that Meng Nan's main persona would harm him. After paying the fare, Chen Ge jumped over the wall and headed for the third sick hall. He had not seen the third sick hall for several weeks, and it had not changed much. Tearing off the seal on the door, Chen Ge pushed open the steel door and stood outside room 3. Meng Nan's main persona had said that every night at midnight, the blood door at the third sick hall would open for 1 minute. If Chen Ge wanted to find him, he could have come at that time. Guarding outside room 3, as time passed, Chen Ge started to get nervous. This was the first time he had entered the world behind the door. His palms were sweaty, and his heart was racing. Chen Ge stared at the door, and when the first blood vessels appeared, he silently pressed the play button on the recorder. Blood leaked out from the gap, dyeing the door red. Chen Ge held the hammer with one hand and pushed the blood door open. The world before his eyes became blurry, and his body was surrounded by a red fog. It felt like he had stepped into a sticky liquid. Swinging the hammer, Chen Ge took a light breath. The scent of blood rushed into his nostrils, and it made him feel slightly uncomfortable. Every time I enter the world behind the door, I feel strangely anxious, like there's something deep inside this world calling out to me. Chen Ge had Shu Yin follow behind him, and he sighed in relief. The world behind the door should affect a red specter as well. This place is filled with various negative emotions and the despair of the world. The longer one stays here, the heavier the resentment will be, and the harder it will be for them to find relief. With Shu Yin with him, Chen Ge felt more confident. He pushed open the doors of the sick rooms, but he did not see Meng Nan's main persona. Where did he go? Chen Ge came to the end of the corridor and saw the electrotherapy room. When I came here last time, I ran into Meng Nan here. He pushed open the door, and the cold bed was covered with various red instruments. The wires on the instruments were connected to an old man's head. Chen Ge looked at it and realized that it looked familiar. This old man was the director of the third sick hall. Due to his terminal illness, he had cooperated with the patient to enter the world behind the door to ambush Meng Nan. How have you been, old director? Chen Ge walked over warmly like he had met someone familiar. The old man had obviously lost a lot of weight. It was very weak, but even in this condition, when it heard Chen Ge's voice, it opened its eyes immediately. When it saw Chen Ge, it was reminded of the extremely violent red specter, and the words that it wanted to say were stuck in its throat. What's wrong? Do you have a problem with me? Chen Ge sat next to the old man's head. His tone was relaxed, as if he was visiting a neighbor. The old man looked at Chen Ge, who was very close to him. His eyes rolled as if he was thinking of something crooked. But it soon saw Shu Yin walk out from behind Chen Ge. Another red specter? His blood-red eyes stared at the old man. The malice in Shu Yin's eyes was not concealed at all. It was as if he would tear all his targets apart as soon as Chen Ge gave the order. Putting away his evil thoughts, the old man helplessly looked at the two bandit-like fellows in the house. His voice became even weaker. What are you guys doing here? Where is Meng Nan's main persona? I have some business with him. Chen Ge was not worried that the old director was up to no good. Even though the old man was full of schemes, in terms of power, he was the shame of all red specters. He should be on the 4th floor now. The window there is cracked, and he's fixing it. The old man spoke quickly like he was trying to chase Shu Yin and Chen Ge away. You should know the consequence of lying to me. Chen Ge knew that the chance of the old man lying to him was not high, but he was a cautious person. Why would I lie to you? The old man's face was about to cry. He had a feeling that Chen Ge was purposely doing this to find a reason to destroy him. At least you know what's good for you. Chen Ge led Shu Yin out of the electroshock therapy room. They walked through the red corridor, walked past the wandering patients, and arrived at the 4th floor. Once they exited the corridor, Chen Ge noticed that something was wrong. The fog on the 4th floor was thick, and the smell of blood in the air was rather pungent. Has there been an accident? Has someone from the Society of Strange Tales been here? Chen Ge carefully pushed open the doors on both sides of the corridor. When he was about to reach the end of the corridor, he saw a small figure walk out from one of the sick rooms. The shirt that was dripping with blood formed a great contrast with his young face. He was surrounded by blood fog like he was the source of the fog. Chen Ge. The blood fog slowly dissipated. Meng Nan lifted his head to look at Chen Ge, and he frowned. Actually, he had no idea why he was frowning, but he instinctively felt that this person was very troublesome. I heard from the director downstairs that you're here, so I came to take a look. Chen Ge glanced into the room that Meng Nan had walked out from. The window did not appear to be able to be closed. Just say it. Even though Meng Nan looked like a child, his intelligence was much higher than a normal person's. He was a genius, but due to growing up in a mental hospital, his worldview was different from normal people. There's no need to be so polite. Chen Ge led Shu Yin toward Meng Nan. You don't have any family in Zhujiang, so as your only friend, I'm here to visit you. Isn't that normal? Stopping beside Meng Nan, Chen Ge squatted down and looked at the face of Meng Nan's main persona. We're not friends. I don't have friends, and I don't need one. Meng Nan took several steps back like he was afraid of Chen Ge. You came to find me because of the specter behind me, right? His heart is missing a piece, and he's about to become a red specter. You can't find a way, so you came to find me. Before Chen Ge said anything, the man had already guessed everything. Meng Nan took another few steps back to maintain his distance from Chen Ge. A small portion of normal specters have the potential to become a red specter. This kind of specter usually has a lot of resentment when they were alive. They're very aggressive and have a strong desire to kill. They're the most dangerous and uncontrollable lunatics. Aren't you a red specter yourself? How come I feel like you don't fit that description at all? Chen Ge looked at Meng Nan, who was hiding far away, and he had a feeling that the man was afraid of him. I'm talking about specters like him who have the potential to become a red specter. People like me who have pushed open the door will become a red specter after death. Meng Nan revealed a big secret. So, there's such a saying. Doesn't that mean every door represents a red specter? Chen Ge stood up. He had a feeling that he would be able to get a lot of useful information from Meng Nan that night. I don't know how the doors are created, but I can confirm that there is at least one red specter behind each door. Meng Nan turned to look at Shu Yin, who was standing behind Chen Ge. For specters like them, there are only two ways to quickly become a red specter. Make them the owner of one of the doors, or have them consume a complete red specter. Isn't that a bit too difficult? Chen Ge shook his head. Neither of these methods was useful to him. There was a door inside his haunted house, but he had no idea what was behind it, and he did not dare go in to explore it. Consuming a complete red specter was even harder. In the whole of Zhujiang, other than the Society of Strange Tales, there were only 3 known red specters. The well woman from Coffin Village, the woman from the tunnel, and Meng Nan. Each of these 3 specters was crueler than the last. Meng Nan, who appeared to be the weakest, had many tricks up his sleeves. He purposely suggested this method to test Chen Ge. Is there any other way? Only Shu Yin's heart is not dyed red. His situation is quite unique, right? While Chen Ge was talking, Meng Nan kept his eyes on him. After confirming that Chen Ge did not have any killing intent toward him, his expression softened. There are other ways, but compared to the previous 2, they are more troublesome. Meng Nan was only slightly taller than Chen Ge's knee, but his tone was like an adult. A normal specter needs to possess something to ensure that they do not dissipate over time, but a red specter does not have that concern. The reason for this difference is that a red specter has a heart. Heart. Something that can be called a heart. Meng Nan sighed. Anger, hatred, or vengeance, when a certain emotion reaches its peak, it will become the heart of a specter. This heart will support it to leave its possession and remain in the world forever. The specter behind you has consumed enough ghosts, but he still has not found his own heart. If he can find his own heart, he can easily become a red specter. He glanced at Shu Yin, and there was confusion on his young face. The specter behind you is a mixture of many emotions. There is despair, pain, dissatisfaction, and a desire that I cannot understand. It is rare to see so many emotions intertwined on the same soul, and this is a big obstacle for him to become a red specter. Hearing Meng Nan say that, Chen Ge realized that Shu Yin was indeed different from normal specters. This specter listened to everything he said and did not ask for anything in return. At Fang Hua Apartments, when Shu Yin's body was about to be torn apart, he used one arm to stop the red specter from the Society of Strange Tales. Sometimes, Chen Ge wondered why Shu Yin would do something like that. Was it just because he had saved him? Shu Yin seemed to be forcing himself to believe Chen Ge's every word. He trusted Chen Ge unconditionally, like he was trying to prove something. Chen Ge still remembered the first time he met Shu Yin. At the time, Shu Yin was only slightly stronger than a normal ghost, and he could not even defeat the thin figure from the Society of Strange Tales. However, even at his weakest, as long as Chen Ge gave the order, he would charge forward regardless of the consequences. It felt like he was seeking death. The more pain he feels, the stronger he becomes. Perhaps I have underestimated Shu Yin. Chen Ge felt like he needed to have a good chat with Shu Yin, but not here. Meng Nan's main persona was very clever. Before he joined the haunted house, Chen Ge did not want to expose too many of his trump cards. Meng Nan felt like he had said enough that night. He waved at Shu Yin. I still have something to do, so I won't be sending you off. See you later. Meng Nan felt like he had said enough that night. He waved at Chen Ge. I still have something to do, so I won't be seeing you off. See you later. It's not every day that I'm here. Don't you think your attitude is a bit too cold? After all, I've already saved your life. Chen Ge led Shu Yin to approach Meng Nan. What do you want? Meng Nan was instantly alarmed. Don't worry, I just want to make a comparison. Chen Ge pointed at his shadow. There is a red specter in my shadow. Can you tell how she became a red specter? Chen Ge had always been curious about Zhang Ya. Due to Zhang Ya's absence, Western Zhujiang's private academy's Scream Index had dropped by 1 star. From this, it could be seen that before Zhang Ya consumed the old director and the few red specters from the Society of Strange Tales, she was already able to support a 3-star scenario on her own. Meng Nan stared at Chen Ge's shadow for a long time, and his expression suddenly darkened. I sense a very familiar presence from the red specter in your shadow. She should be like me, having pushed open a door when she was still alive. Zhang Ya is also a door pusher. Chen Ge thought back to Zhang Ya's experiences when she was alive and shook his head. The place she lives in doesn't seem to have a door. Hearing what Chen Ge said, Meng Nan's expression darkened. His body slowly melted into the blood fog. My feeling is never wrong. If she's not a door pusher, then she must have consumed a door pusher before. As his body slowly disappeared, Meng Nan realized that he was becoming more and more afraid of Chen Ge. This living person was like a moving nest of monsters. I'm warning you, don't get any ideas about me. The door pusher can use 200% of his power in the world behind the door. Meng Nan thought about it and realized that even if he doubled his power, he would still not be Zhang Ya's match, so he changed his tone. The door at the 3rd sick hall is already riddled with holes by those few madmen. If I'm not here, and there's no one to look after it, the consequences will be unimaginable. Chen Ge had always been curious about the world behind the door, so he followed up on Meng Nan's question. What will happen? The monsters behind the door will escape into the real world? You're oversimplifying things. This blood-red world is filled with various negative emotions and abandoned memories. If the door isn't closed, these things will slowly seep into the real world. As the gap gets bigger, something scary will appear. Meng Nan led Chen Ge into the room next door. He walked to the window that could not be closed, and the window frame was covered in blood vessels with human faces. I can't mention their names in the world behind the door, but you only need to know that they are different from normal specters. Meng Nan pulled out a blood vessel from the window frame, and the scream of a living person came from it. He handed the blood vessel to Chen Ge like he was trying to tell Chen Ge something. He reached out to accept the blood vessel, and when his fingertip touched it, a despairing and painful memory surged into his mind. The owner of this memory was similar to the human face on the blood vessel. He was chased and then brutally murdered. Every blood vessel is a cruel memory. Meng Nan leaned on the windowsill and looked out the window. And this is a completely blood-red world. Meng Nan was trying to tell Chen Ge something, but he did not dare go into detail. Chen Ge did not really understand him, so he could only memorize Meng Nan's words. Chen Ge still had many things to ask Meng Nan, but the man did not have the patience. Soon, he sent Chen Ge out of the blood door. Every time the door opened, it would affect Meng Nan, causing him to enter a temporary state of weakness. Chen Ge noted this down, and he felt like this was one of the weaknesses of the door pusher. After leaving the third sick hall, Chen Ge walked down the road for a long time before he ran into a kind-hearted person. After the man dropped him off at a place close to the city, Chen Ge flagged down another taxi and headed toward Muyang High School. It's already 2 a.m., so there's still time. Chen Ge took out his phone to look through the messages. He was thinking about how to complete the mission at the underground morgue. The passenger had to rush to the abandoned school in the middle of the night, and the driver was under a lot of pressure. He wiped away his sweat and observed Chen Ge silently through the rear-view mirror. Being stared at like this made Chen Ge feel uncomfortable. He suspected that if this continued, he would soon be blacklisted by Zhujiang's taxi company. Looks like I should consider buying a car, but I don't have a driver's license. Oh well, I'll think about it after I find a specter who knows how to drive. The truck driver from Eastern Zhujiang flashed across Chen Ge's mind, and he seemed like a suitable candidate. After completing the underground morgue mission, I'll go to Eastern Zhujiang to take a look. If the truck driver agrees to join the haunted house, I won't even need to buy a car. A smile appeared on his face, and Chen Ge felt like he had discovered another employee with great potential. At 2:40 a.m., Chen Ge arrived at the edge of Muyang High School. He crawled into the bushes, and it did not take long before he saw the school that was hidden in the dark. This place is just a 2-star scenario, but how come it feels scarier than the third sick hall? Chen Ge pulled open the zipper of his backpack. He was there to ask for the old headmaster's help. He did not want to be too scary, but without the hammer, he would not feel at ease. Holding the handle of the hammer, Chen Ge activated the recorder and entered the abandoned school. The old headmaster appeared in the last classroom before this. The murderer of the hidden corpse in the well case had been caught, and after the police left, no one had come to this place for a long time. The field was overgrown with weeds, and Muyang High School returned to its original state. Walking down the burnt corridor, Chen Ge entered the education block. He pushed open the door of the last classroom and looked in. Rows of tables were arranged neatly, and just like the first time he was there, Chen Ge sat in the middle of the classroom. Strange characters were written on the blackboard, and many strange requests were carved on the table. The window swayed slowly, and the night breeze blew into the room through the broken glass. It was the same scene, but the problem in Chen Ge's mind was completely different from the last time. Where can the old headmaster hide? Chen Ge had no ill intentions towards the old headmaster. He just wanted him to reunite with the students. After some thought, Chen Ge took out a ballpoint pen from his backpack. He sat in the middle of the classroom and started playing the pen spirit game. Pen spirit, you are my previous life, and I am your current life. Can you tell me where the first headmaster of Muyang High School has gone to? A ballpoint pen covered in scotch tape stood on the table and hesitantly wrote, office. Seeing these 3 words, Chen Ge nodded lightly. He felt like the pen spirit had developed a sense of belonging to the haunted house, a sense of honor, and that comforted him. Standing up and leaving the last classroom, Chen Ge snuck into the office building. He checked every room and finally found the headmaster's office at the end of the corridor. To leave a good impression on the old headmaster, Chen Ge knocked on the door 5 times. After ensuring that there was no answer, he used the hammer to break the lock. Barging in, Chen Ge realized that the room was empty. Muyang High School was built by the old headmaster, so he shouldn't have left this place. Perhaps the time was not right, or the old headmaster had other concerns, so he did not show up. The headmaster was a good man when he was alive. After his death, he probably returned to Muyang High School because he was worried about the 20 students. Now that I'm taking care of the students, could he have let go of his obsession and disappeared? Chen Ge thought about it, and that was not entirely impossible. Closing the door, Chen Ge walked into the room. The headmaster's office was simple. Other than the desk, chair, and a bookshelf, there was nothing else. There has to be a reason why the pen spirit told me to come here. Could it be that the old headmaster knew that I wouldn't let him go? Or did he know that I was coming? The image of the fat old man appeared in Chen Ge's mind, and he was unsure. He walked to the desk and pulled out a few drawers. He counted from top to bottom, and the first drawer held a few certificates from city-level competitions. Muyang High School's teachers were weak, and the students' results were not good. Normally, they would be at the bottom of the city-level competitions, so they did not have many certificates. However, every single one of them had been carefully preserved by the old headmaster. The old headmaster really wants to run this school well. Unfortunately, it's not enough with his strength alone. Chen Ge opened the second drawer, and it was filled with thank you notes. Most of them were written by the students, thanking the public for their donations. I can't believe he kept these things. After flipping through them for a long time, Chen Ge did not find anything useful, so he pulled out the last drawer. Inside was a pair of reading glasses and several thick accounting books. Donation statistics. Chen Ge flipped through the books, and when he saw the name on the first row, he was stunned. Zhujiang Psychological Research Center's Dr. Gao? To confirm that this Dr. Gao was the person he knew, Chen Ge had done some online research. Yes, this person is Ru Shui's father. Flipping through the books, Dr. Gao's name was at the top of the list of donors, and this changed Chen Ge's view of Dr. Gao. There were also donations from several corporations at the back of the books. Every time they donated, they would make a big deal out of it. There would be media coverage, and they would want the whole world to know about it, but the actual amount of money they donated was less than Dr. Gao's. Donating to the school silently without making it public, Dr. Gao appeared to be doing this purely out of charity. Could someone like this be the chairperson of the Society of Strange Tales? Chen Ge stood beside the table. If Dr. Gao was really the chairperson of the Society of Strange Tales, then he would be the most complicated person Chen Ge had ever met. On one hand, he's donating to the school and saving the patients, but on the other hand, he's murdering the ghosts behind the door. What is he trying to do? No one could guess Dr. Gao's thoughts. The best psychologist in Zhujiang seemed to have buried his heart deep within his heart. At the end of the book were Dr. Gao's handwritten replies to the children, and they had all been preserved by the old headmaster. Chen Ge slowly flipped to the end, and at the bottom of the book, he saw a picture that was stuck in the middle of the book. The person was blurry, but one could tell that the person in the picture was Dr. Gao. He was standing with another young man, surrounded by a group of children, and standing not far away from them was a shy woman. The woman's face was blurry, but from her physique, she looked similar to the strange woman that Chen Ge had met at Zhujiang Medical University. That woman is Dr. Gao's wife. Only the woman's face was blurry. Chen Ge moved his gaze, and it soon landed on another person. Two young men stood in the middle. One was Dr. Gao, and the other looked familiar. The person standing next to Dr. Gao looks like Dr. Chen from Zhujiang's children's home. That night at Coffin Village, Zhang Ling, Fan Yu, and Dr. Chen had disappeared together. At the time, the police had suspected that it was Dr. Chen who had kidnapped them. Dr. Chen and Dr. Gao are friends, and they seem to have both worked at Zhujiang's Mental Illness Research Center. Looking at the picture in his hand, Chen Ge sat on the chair in the room. The old headmaster had really given him a surprise. The appearance of this picture solved a question that had been bothering Chen Ge for a long time. At the end of the Coffin Village mission, the zoo woman said that there was a fight between number 10 and an outsider. It was because of that outsider that number 10 did not follow Wu Fei into the blood door. Chen Ge thought back to the zoo woman's description of the outsider. The outsider wore a white coat and looked like a doctor, and he was surrounded by a group of children. The only person who could appear at that time and place and fit the description given by the zoo woman was Dr. Chen. Looks like this Dr. Chen is not as simple as he seems, but why would he fight with Dr. Gao? Judging from this picture, they should be friends. Dr. Gao and Dr. Chen had two completely different personalities. One was a smooth talker who could handle any situation perfectly, and the other seemed to be unable to survive in a big hospital, so he went to a children's home to provide psychological counseling for children. The letter left behind by the old director mentioned Dr. Chen. Dr. Chen should not be referring to my father but Dr. Chen from Zhujiang's children's home. But why would the old director's letter be sent to Linjiang New Schistosomiasis Control Station? Dr. Chen used to work at the station as well? Isn't he a psychiatrist? The old director initially corresponded with Dr. Chen, but why would the patients at the third sick hall end up with Dr. Gao? Could it be that the conflict between Dr. Gao and Dr. Chen happened because of the third sick hall? Did the two of them disagree on how to deal with the gate? Chen Ge wanted to ask the old director, who only had his head left, but the door to the third sick hall would only open at midnight. Once they missed it, they wouldn't be able to enter again within 24 hours. My parents left behind some information about the third sick hall, and Director Luo mentioned that they mentioned the third sick hall before they disappeared. What role did my parents play in this whole incident? Chen Ge had been searching for information about his parents. He had a feeling that Dr. Chen and Dr. Gao would know something. After leaving the office, Chen Ge walked around Muyang High School. He wanted to thank the old headmaster in person, but the latter did not show up. Where can he hide? With regret, Chen Ge left Muyang High School. When the sun was about to rise, Chen Ge returned to the haunted house. Once he stepped through the door, the black phone vibrated. He took out the phone and clicked open the new message. The one-star scenario, wife's room, had been completed. A one-star scenario is not that useful to me. Being responsible for his visitors, Chen Ge carried his backpack and entered the underground scenario. With the staircase as the center, the left side was Muyang High School, the right side was the third sick hall, the front was Coffin Village, and the back was the new one-star scenario, wife's room. My haunted house is starting to take shape. After the underground morgue is unlocked, the haunted house will start its third expansion. The third expansion was a threshold. After the expansion was completed, Chen Ge's haunted house would officially upgrade into the Maze of Terror. Chen Ge had no idea what new functions and changes would come about. He only read the introduction on the black phone that he would receive many rewards after the upgrade. Standing in the underground corridor, Chen Ge looked at the new one-star scenario. It was a single room. Pushing open the door, the layout was similar to room 3004, but the walls, cupboards, and coffee table were covered in blood. It was a visual shock. Wife's room should be a replica of Ma Yin's sister's death scene. Chen Ge did not show any sign of discomfort on his face. He used the hammer to search the room and slowly discovered something strange. There were many broken pieces of art in the room, and once he entered, the pieces of art would turn to look at Chen Ge. Summoning Lao Zhou and the rest, Chen Ge had them sense the strange reaction of the three specters. They said they could confirm that there was a specter hiding in the room, but they had no idea where it was hiding. They could only sense a faint presence, and the specter appeared to be asleep. When he heard that there was a specter hiding in the room, Chen Ge's eyes lit up. When he pushed open the bedroom door, the expression on his face turned strange. There was a long rope hanging in the middle of the room, and a blood-stained bedsheet was stuck in the gap of the cupboard. The quilt was dangling beside the bed, and there were some bloodstains on the ground. Most importantly, there was an ugly statue placed at the head of the bed. This room is similar to the one in Ma Yin's video. Chen Ge walked to the bedside and stared at the statue for a long time. He held the statue's chin lightly and repeated something that he had said a few days ago. You can verify the authenticity of every sentence that I'm about to say, right? Not a single word was wrong, and even the tone did not change much. Hearing his voice, something inside the statue seemed to come alive. Its presence was completely different from before, like a person who had just woken up from a dream. A look of disbelief appeared on the ugly face, and then two streams of tears flowed out from the statue's eyes. What a coincidence, we meet again. Chen Ge already knew that Ma Yin's sister's soul was hiding inside the statue, so he did not want to make things difficult for it. From now on, this will be your new home. Don't worry, I know everything about you. I will treat you like family in the future. His fingers slid across the statue's face, and Chen Ge helped the statue wipe away the tears. His action was as gentle as ever. Your murderer has been punished by the law. If you need anything else, feel free to tell me. The statue's tears kept falling. It was unclear whether it was from fear or excitement. I feel like there's a small misunderstanding between us. Actually, I'm not the kind of person you think I am. Chen Ge knew that it was useless to be hasty, but he was confident that he could change the statue's impression of him. Wasn't the pen spirit a good example? The three of you go talk to it. I'll go stand guard outside. Chen Ge gave Lao Zhou's group a look before walking out of the bedroom. He closed the door and stood at the door. The voices of Lao Zhou's group drifted out from inside the room. From now on, we'll be colleagues. You might not believe me when I say this, but the time I spent at the haunted house was the happiest time of my life. Our boss looks scary, but he's actually a good person. He respects us and understands us very well. In the future, you'll grow to like this place. There are many different types of ghosts here, and they all have their own unique power. They are all honest and kind. Chen Ge listened at the door for a while, and even he felt embarrassed. Should I tell Lao Zhou and the rest that the statue can judge the truth of a sentence? Never mind, this is good enough. After leaving the underground scenario, Chen Ge returned to the staff break room alone. He opened the door and collapsed into bed. I've been to 3 places in one night. My nightlife sure is fulfilling. Removing his jacket, Chen Ge fell asleep when the sun was about to rise. Chen Ge was woken up by the alarm at 8 a.m. He washed up, put the clothes that he had washed into the closet, and started to clean the haunted house. Shu Wan arrived at the haunted house at 8:30 a.m. She chatted with Chen Ge for a while before entering the dressing room alone. After eating the breakfast that Shu Wan brought, Ji Feiyu ran over. The young man was as energetic as ever. Without makeup, one would not be able to tell that he was a haunted house worker. Good morning, boss. Quick, go and put on your makeup. The visitors are about to arrive. Chen Ge sat at the entrance, munching on his food. Seeing the smile on Ji Feiyu's face, he asked curiously, "Did something good happen to you?" "No, it's just that I'm having fun." Ji Feiyu squatted down beside Chen Ge and nudged Chen Ge lightly. He said mysteriously, "Boss, does Sister Shu Wan like you? She brings you breakfast every day. One time, I saw her arguing with the person who bought the breakfast, saying that you should not eat spicy food because you often stay up late." "I often stay up late. How did she know? She's worried about you." Ji Feiyu had a smile on his face. "Actually, I come very early every morning. The only reason I'm late is because I don't want to disturb the two of you." "That's not an excuse for you to be late. If you're not here by 8:30 a.m. next time, I'll deduct your pay." Chen Ge finished the last mouthful of food and stood up. "Don't." Ji Feiyu followed behind Chen Ge. "Boss, I just feel like a lot of people like you. I want to be as popular as you." Xiao Jiyu chased after Chen Ge into the haunted house's corridor like he was sincerely asking for advice. "When my uncle was discharged from the hospital, he told me to learn more from you, but I'm so dumb that I don't even know where to start." "You want to learn how to be a popular person from me?" Chen Ge thought about it with some difficulty. He recalled the things he had done in the past. He felt that if he told Ji Feiyu about it, his image in Ji Feiyu's heart would instantly turn to ash. After a moment of hesitation, Chen Ge lightly patted Ji Feiyu's shoulder. "Calm, hardworking, fearless. That's all I can tell you." Ji Feiyu carefully pondered over Chen Ge's words and felt that Chen Ge's words made sense. "You're still young. You still have many things to learn." Chen Ge looked at Ji Feiyu's energetic face. "In the future, you'll work at the haunted house in the morning and learn something at night. That way, even if the haunted house closes down, you'll still have a good life." Entering the dressing room, Chen Ge helped Ji Feiyu change into Dr. Skullcracker's outfit. After sending him away, he started to put on Shu Wan's makeup. Looking at his employee in the mirror, Chen Ge's lips moved like he wanted to say something. "Boss, just say what you want to say. There's no need to hold it in." Shu Wan knew Chen Ge very well. In a sense, they had been through the most difficult period at the haunted house. "It's nothing. I just feel like, as the boss, I'm being taken care of by an employee like you every day, and I feel quite bad." Chen Ge's hands were steady as he slowly finished the makeup. "I just feel like you're working too hard, and I want to help you, but I don't know what to do, so I can only bring you some food and do some unimportant things." Shu Wan looked at herself in the mirror and was satisfied. "I'll enter the scenario now." "Okay, go ahead." Chen Ge sat on the chair that Shu Wan had been sitting on earlier and looked at Shu Wan's retreating back. "I haven't even said anything, so how did she know I was going to bring food?" Shaking his head, Chen Ge stood up. He never thought that Shu Wan would harm him, but he was suddenly curious about this girl. Walking out from the dressing room, Chen Ge pulled back the gate. The warm sunlight fell on his body, and he stretched lazily. The theme park officially opened at 9 a.m. Due to the appearance of the haunted house app, many visitors who had visited the haunted house in the past returned, and the ranking on the screen at the resting hall kept changing. There were workers outside to maintain order, and Chen Ge only needed to be responsible for the underground scenarios. Basically, every scenario had visitors, and Chen Ge was under a lot of pressure. Director Luo was worried that something might happen to Chen Ge, so he set up an emergency medical center at the resting hall. Regardless of whether it was useful or not, a few doctors and nurses in large white coats standing by the side gave the tourists a different feeling. To make it easier for Chen Ge to move the visitors, Director Luo had people build a trolley, and the words were painted on it, "Fainting visitors, only." Leaving the logistics to Director Luo and Shu Shu, Chen Ge did not have to worry at all. He only needed to keep unlocking new scenarios to give the visitors something to look forward to. The day passed quickly. At 6:30 p.m., after sending off the last batch of visitors, Chen Ge had Shu Wan and Ji Yu Feiyu, who had been working the whole day, go home first. He grabbed the tools and started to clean the entrance of the haunted house. He busied himself until 7 p.m., and most of the workers at New Century Park had left. Compared to the hustle and bustle of the day, the park was eerily quiet at night. After cleaning, Chen Ge entered the various scenarios. Interestingly enough, whenever he entered a scenario, there would be a ghost who would find the things that the visitors had left behind and place them at the entrance. Chen Ge put these things away, labeled them with a number, and then placed them at the park's lost and found center. That was what he did every day, but this time, when he was putting numbers on the lost items of the tourists, he saw something rather strange. A security pass. Chen Ge stared at the name and picture on the pass, and he was shocked. Why would Zhang Li's security pass be inside my haunted house? Zhang Li was the security guard from Western Zhejiang Medical University. Chen Ge had met him once. Did this person visit my haunted house today? After giving it some thought, Chen Ge put the pass away. After placing the lost items at the center, Chen Ge ran into the haunted house's surveillance room with the pass. He looked at the surveillance videos for Minghan and Murder by Midnight. He remembered every batch of visitors at the underground scenarios, so he was sure that even if Zhang Li had been to the haunted house, he would have visited the one-star scenarios above ground. Chen Ge only glanced at the faces of each batch of visitors before fast-forwarding through them. Half an hour later, he finally saw Zhang Li in the surveillance video. This security guard with an unlikable personality was together with a young girl. The two of them visited Minghan and Murder by Midnight. Chen Ge saw it clearly. Zhang Li and the woman next to him purposely avoided the students from Western Zhejiang Medical University like they did not have a good relationship with the students. In the video, Zhang Li and the woman did not act too intimately. They did not look like lovers but more like siblings. Could this woman be Zhang Shihan? Li Zheng had mentioned this woman to Chen Ge before. Before Ma Yin's sister disappeared, she had gotten into an argument with Zhang Shihan, so Zhang Shihan had been added to the list of suspects. In the video, the two were no different from other visitors. They would run around when they saw scary things and scream when they ran into scares. However, as time moved on, Chen Ge noticed something strange. Initially, Zhang Shihan walked ahead of Zhang Li. She was a medical student, so it was understandable that she was more mentally prepared than Zhang Li. However, at the last stage of the Minghan scenario, when Shu Wan appeared, Zhang Shihan almost collapsed to the ground. At the time, her body was leaning backward, and from the video, it was obvious that Zhang Li was holding her back. From his expression, while Zhang Shihan was scared out of her wits, Zhang Li was still conscious. How come a forensic doctor who deals with dead bodies is not as brave as a security guard? Then, Zhang Shihan and Zhang Li entered the Murder by Midnight scenario. When they were chased by Ji Yu Feiyu, Zhang Shihan was nervous and panicked, but Zhang Li was calm. It feels like this security guard has seen something big before. The two visitors left after Murder by Midnight, and Chen Ge pulled up the surveillance at the entrance of the haunted house at the same time. Zhang Shihan and Zhang Li were standing at the corner of the resting hall. Even though Zhang Shihan's face was pale, she was excited. She was waving her hands and talking to Zhang Li. Zhang Li also had a rare smile on his face like he would be happy whenever his sister was happy. Zhang Shihan said that they were going to visit a two-star scenario. She pulled Zhang Li back to the queue, but Zhang Li waved his hands and refused to go. Why doesn't Zhang Li dare visit a two-star scenario? Could it be that he feels there are real ghosts inside the two-star scenario? The siblings stayed in the resting hall for a long time before they went to visit the other scenarios. Zhang Shihan's performance is normal, but this Zhang Li is suspicious. Chen Ge thought about it. He shoved the employee ID into his pocket and left the haunted house with his backpack. Before Li Zheng calls, I need to gather as much information about the underground morgue as I can. Rushing to Western Zhejiang Medical University, Chen Ge headed straight for the security booth. He looked into the booth, but Zhang Li was not there. Is Zhang Li here? I'm a staff member of New Century Park. He left something at our place when he visited the park today. You lost it, and you brought it here personally? The one who spoke was a fat security guard. He looked very stout, but he had a lot of meat on his belly. The bottom button of his security guard uniform was almost unbuttoned. You're too kind. This is what we should do. Chen Ge glanced at the fat security guard's work ID. His name was Wang or Bao. Is it convenient for you to reveal the location of your dormitory? I want to personally return the item to the other party and check it out in person to see if there's anything missing. Lao Zhang has a strange temper, and we don't get along well. He moved out on his own. You can find him at Hai Ming Apartments. Hai Ming Apartments. Chen Ge was startled. That was where Meng Nan's second persona used to live. It's normal that you haven't heard of it. The old building is old, dirty, and messy. Other than being cheap, there's nothing good about it. Which room is he staying in? Room 403. Wang or Bao was still worried. Lao Zhang is a strange person. Don't mind him if he's cold toward you, that's just how he is. Okay. Thank you. Chen Ge hailed a cab to get to Hai Ming Apartments. On the way, he was thinking about a question. Was it a coincidence that Zhang Li was staying at Hai Ming Apartments, or was there more to it? Meng Nan saw someone posting a rental information on the school's Tieba and went over. Don't tell me that person is Zhang Li. If that's really him, why would he do that? With that question in mind, Chen Ge arrived at Hai Ming Apartments. He carried his backpack and entered the stairwell. Knocking lightly on the door of room 403, Chen Ge waited for a long time before a suppressed voice came from inside the room. Who are you looking for? The door did not open, and there were no footsteps inside the room. The owner seemed to have moved carefully to the door. After peeking through the gap, he dared to ask the question. He seems to be afraid of something. Chen Ge tried to make his voice as kind as possible. I'm a worker at New Century Park. Your security pass was left at the park. I only found this place after asking your colleagues. There was no response from inside the room. After a few seconds, the door finally opened. Give me the pass. The door was only slightly open. Zhang Li's body was hidden behind the door. His caution made Chen Ge even more suspicious. I can give it to you, but you have to at least let me see what you look like, right? If I give it to the wrong person, I won't be able to bear the responsibility. Chen Ge took out the pass and purposely waved it at the door. The person inside the room seemed to hesitate before opening the door. Zhang Li was tall and thin with sunken eyes. He was wearing a pair of sports shoes and a normal gray jacket. The pockets of the jacket were bulging, giving the impression that he was about to go out. Can you give me the pass now? Still not. Chen Ge studied Zhang Li's expression. The man should have recognized him already, so there was no need to hide anymore. Other than returning the pass to you, I'm here to ask you a few questions. Zhang Li's face darkened instantly. He did not say anything else and prepared to close the door. Chen Ge reacted quickly. He reached out to grab the door. I mean you and me no harm. These questions are very important to you and me. Let go. Zhang Li glared at Chen Ge, and his voice was low. I know you have something on your mind. Think about it. Perhaps I can help you. I told you to let go. Zhang Li was desperate, and his voice became louder. His expression was twisted. I don't need your help. Let go. Seeing how determined Zhang Li was, Chen Ge did not force him. He dropped the backpack on the ground with one hand and pulled out the hammer that was more than half a meter long. Once the hammer was taken out, the smell of blood rushed at him, and he could hear the wailing of ghosts. I just want to help you. Whether you need it or not, what does that have to do with me? Staring at the hammer in Chen Ge's hand, Zhang Li's eyelids twitched. His face was drawn, and after a long time, he squeezed out 3 words, come in.